Carlos Alcaraz has won the last 2 Grand Slam titles at the French Open on the clay and at Wimbledon earlier this summer. He enters as the favorite.
You have a bunch of depth there. Francis Tiafoe, Ben Shelton. They will likely play in round 3. The winner would play Djokovic, most likely, which would be an incredible match. I like Ben Shelton as a sleeper. If Djokovic is hurt, you never know. I think Shelton could actually be the guy that gets hot. The conditions favor him.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Hey, let's say it comes down for Matt Kuchar in the FedEx Cup ball. Let's say he doesn't make a cut, and it comes down to one shot. And
that's a good point.
And he keeps his card for the top 125 because he did make the jump from, I think it was 113 to 103. So he made a 10-spot jump. So he's got, 17, or let's see, that was not good math. He's got about
not a math bot. The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
We're into a different regime, different ownership, different head coach. I like the head coach. Dan Quinn is a good football man. He has been around where he's been. They have won. Yes, he's had some talent there.
I'm incredibly excited for what this brings to the team. The defense, I think, is underrated. I think this is a good football team. And also, you talk about extending drives. I think Daniels has that ability. And that's something that hasn't been seen in Washington for quite some time.
Fantasy sports today, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go!
That's what champions do.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency, the principal players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. Let's do this thing. We're into level 3 right now. Massive upset at Flushing Meadows. Carlos Alcaraz has been eliminated in the second round. Not only that, he got swept 3 games to none, 3 sets to none. And, wow, seismic type of upset this early in the tournament. That's the thing with the U.S. Open, man. It's always electric. And the thing I love about the U.S. Open is my favorite of the Grand Slams. I've been swept up into college football, but what I like about it is, you got the finals, NFL football's back. It's just sort of baseball playoffs are coming. It's a great time of the year in the sports world. So as I stated, Brett Beard will step up and in, but we got college football games going on right now as we speak. Minnesota, 3rd and 12 right now on the 12-yard line of the North Carolina Tar Heels, and there's under 4 minutes remaining in this football game. So this game's coming down to the wire right now, and it's a field goal here, field goal there, going back and forth. We'll see. Minnesota missed a chip shot earlier in the football game. All right, so there's no guarantee that they're going to make the kick this time around. But we expected this game to be super close. I should have jumped in on the under earlier when I had the chance, but we had a million bets going on. We didn't do great tonight. We didn't get murdered, but we didn't do great. We lost a lot of the stupid bets and the big spreads by half a point and 2 points here. What am I going to do? I took Murray State. I obviously didn't bet I didn't bet the house on Murray State, but we had Murray State plus 50.5. They lose 51-0. We lose by half the point. I have Kansas minus 46. They win by 45. It's a lesson learned, right? We got a little excited tonight. You don't have to bet on all these ridiculous games. That's one good thing. Tomorrow night is bigger schools. There's less games, so they're going to have to kick the field goal. Man, Minnesota. Minnesota never change. It doesn't, every year it's always, they bring in the quarterback from New Hampshire. The Callie McManus kid is now at Rutgers. So Minnesota do kick the field goal. It's 17-16 with 3.5 minutes remaining. So the Tar Heels only need a field goal right now to win this football game. 17-16, 3:36 left. I told you guys at the half that I felt that the momentum had shifted I said, it's not good for Cal State Sacramento. The momentum has shifted in this football game. They came out, and like I said, it happens often with the FCS teams versus the FBS teams. Like New Mexico last week. I remember New Mexico. Oh, they're beating Montana State. They're beating Montana State. And listen, Montana State were the better football team, but New Mexico covered the point spread, right? But the better team's talent ended up winning. And sort of on the flip side here, it's like Cal Sacramento sort of threw their best punches early. They were up 7-0 right away. Next thing you know, it's 14-7, boom, 17-7. It's like, wow, they're playing really well. Well, don't look now, but now it's 21-17. We told you at the half, we'll jump back in on San Jose State, and we'll take the over 61.5. They just scored a touchdown, so it didn't take long. It took them 2.5 minutes to start the second half with a touchdown. 21-17 right now. And Cal State Sacramento sort of find themselves in the same position that North Dakota State did. It's like, well, all right, we played well, but suddenly we're down 4, and if they get a quick stop here and a score, next thing you know, we're down 11 points, and the game starts to get away from us. So big start for San Jose State here. New in-game total, 66.5. San Jose State are now minus 155 on the money line. Over-under is 3.5. The Alumni, Illinois, are up 45-0 on Eastern Illinois with 9 minutes left in the football game. We'll keep our eye on this North Carolina Tar Heel game right now against the Gophers. They're moving the ball. They have the ball at their 38-yard line already. But I was going to say college kickers can be erratic, but pro kickers can be erratic as well. It's not just pro kickers. They're going to be erratic. I'll have a bunch of best bets for you a little bit later on in the last segment of the program. We'll go over the card and what I'm going to be doing over the weekend. With these games, although I've been pretty outright and been talking about them for the last couple of weeks and months. But interesting, isn't it, that Clemson down to 11.5. All that, Georgia's going to kill him. Georgia's going to kill him. Well, a lot of people aren't agreeing with that Georgia's going to kill him so much. They played in 2021, and it was a 10-3 game. Georgia won the football game 10-3. And I think this is going to be a lower scoring game. The problem is it's so hard to take an under in the modern college football world, and especially a total in the 40s like this. 48.5. Georgia's offense is pretty potent, right? And I get it that Clemson's defense is really good, but 49 points isn't asking that much. And so Minnesota's going to screw this up. Just like that, North Carolina are playing pitch and catch, moving down the field right now. North Carolina on the Minnesota Golden Gopher 26-yard line. They better come up with a stop and force a longer field goal and pray that the kid misses. At this rate, though, North Carolina are kind of doing what they want. And this would be a bad loss. Like I said, if you're Minnesota, they're one of those. Minnesota are just one of those. Does anybody talk about them? Does anybody know they're there? You know what I'm saying? The same with their basketball program. The only good thing I think they're good at, I don't know, I'm talking about rowing and stuff like that, but they have a good wrestling program. They do have good wrestlers. But for a state that they have money, they have a big fan base, they have, they sell a lot of tickets, they sell merch. The Golden Gophers are a popular team in Minnesota, but they're just so freaking average all the time. The worst thing is about them, and it's the same with their basketball team, they have no personality, right? Or no identity, right? There's some teams that's they're not very good. Oh, that team, they run and shoot, you know what I mean? They at least they stand for something. What does Minnesota stand for? Not getting first downs, bad quarterback play. Minnesota have turned into Rutgers, and Rutgers are getting better. They're just sort of at least Purdue. Purdue are just a middle-of-the-road Big Ten team, lower-tier Big Ten team, whatever, but Purdue are somewhat entertaining, right? You watch a Purdue game, and it's it was pretty crazy, and, Minnesota, it's always the same crap. It's they lost 24-23 or 20, they won 21-20. They're always 1-point games, and here we go right now. We got a 1-point game, 17-16. For the Gophers, but there's under 2 minutes remaining in the football game right now. So as you were talking about the Michigan State game, Aiden Childs makes his debut for Sparty tomorrow. I'm just sort of feeling out of like past experience with Florida Atlantic. Like even good Florida Atlantic teams used to always get drilled in these non-conference games. And Tom Herman is a good underdog coach. People are going to hang their hat on this. I think people are hanging their hat on the fact that Florida Atlantic are on Phil Steele's most improved team list as well. But most improved team list means they're going to be better. And they won 4 games last year. So, doesn't mean they're going to go into Big Ten country and win a football game. I think this is the favorite play here, guys. I think Michigan State will do enough with their running backs, with their star quarterback, will do enough and put enough points up to cover the number here. And I think it should go over. It's 45. We kidded about the quarterback saying you should bet the over. It's actually come down from like 47.5 to 45, but I think the number's sharp, actually, because I don't think Florida Atlantic are going to score that much. So that's why I'm starting to talk myself into Michigan State. I think Florida Atlantic offensively will struggle, but if they can give us, they give us 13 points, can Michigan State get to 35 or so? I think they can. So I do like Michigan State minus the 13, over 45. We like the Oklahoma Sooners minus the 42. But it sounds crazy to say, but if you're betting this game, you should bet it now because probably by tomorrow night it'll be like 45.5 or something stupid. There's only 4 games tomorrow night.
Carlos Alcaraz has won the last 2 Grand Slam titles at the French Open on the clay and at Wimbledon earlier this summer. He enters as the favorite.
You have a bunch of depth there. Francis Tiafoe, Ben Shelton. They will likely play in round 3. The winner would play Djokovic, most likely, which would be an incredible match. I like Ben Shelton as a sleeper. If Djokovic is hurt, you never know. I think Shelton could actually be the guy that gets hot. The conditions favor him.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Hey, let's say it comes down for Matt Kuchar in the FedEx Cup fall. Let's say he doesn't make a cut, and it comes down to one shot. And
that's a good point.
And he keeps his card for the top 125 because he did make the jump from, I think it was 113 to 103. So he made a 10-spot jump. So he's got, 17, or let's see, that was not good math. He's got about 20.
Not a math bot. The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
We're into a different regime, different ownership, different head coach. I like the head coach. Dan Quinn is a good football man. He has been around where he's been. They have won. Yes, he's had some talent there.
I'm incredibly excited for what this brings to the team. The defense, I think, is underrated. I think this is a good football team. And also, you talk about extending drives. I think Daniels has that ability. And that's something that hasn't been seen in Washington for quite some time.
Fantasy sports today, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
College football is back. Let's do this thing. This is Sports Rage. I'm Gabriel Morency, Sirius XM Channel 159, SportsGrid Radio and Television Networks, and many more affiliates. Shout out to everybody. Happy college football season wherever you may be. Brent Beard is back in a rotation. Brent Beard, First Coast News, college football analyst, Heisman Trophy voter, and more. Brent, it's always a pleasure, my man. Thanks a lot for taking the time to be with us.
I'm happy to be with you, and it's almost like it's Christmas in some ways, isn't it, Gabe? I mean, they're like, I know they're about 10 on television throughout the night, and then you've got maybe 20 overall, and then you've got games tomorrow night. It is frankly, one of the most special weeks of the year if you're a college football fan.
And it is like Christmas, yet there's going to be a lump of coal for the loser of the Miami and Florida game. So the big three in Florida, FSU, Florida, and the U, Mike Norvell gets dealt a loss in week 1, and either Mario Cristobal or Billy Napier is going to be in a hot seat after Saturday afternoon's football game. Brent, what's the word on the street right now that we're less than 48 hours away from a huge game for both programs?
I think the big thing for Florida is that Montrell Johnson, the running back, is going to play. Now, he had minor knee surgery early on, and he is ready to go. Graham Mertz, obviously a quarterback. I think he's going to be pretty strong. Cam Waits, they're playing him in the on the offensive line. They feel good about that youngster. Jake Slaughter is their center that they just love. But look, these guys have got to step up. They know it's 3:30 Saturday against your arch rival. And look, the losing coach is not going to be fired in this game, but whoever wins, and we've talked about it now for weeks, haven't we, Gabe? We'll gain a lot of momentum going into the season. So I think we'll have a barn burner in Gainesville, frankly.
I like the Florida Gators to win this football game, Brent. I think that the home field advantage is going to be a big difference maker. And to put in context, guys, since 1980, the Florida Gators are 37-0-1 in home openers against non-conference opponents. They've never lost, so history will be made if they lose this football game in that context. But I like the home field advantage. Yeah, I know that Cam Ward's a very good quarterback, but it's difficult, Brent. You're playing in your first game. This isn't against Cal, right? This isn't against Washington State. You're in the swamp. You're in Gainesville. There's going to be live bullets flying. And here's an amazing number, Brent, that I came across. Cam Ward, when he's unharassed in the pocket, 88% quarterback rating. When you get pressure on Cam Ward, 57%, Brent. A massive drop-off. But the Miami Hurricanes offensive line is supposed to be one of the strengths of their football team. And I wanted to ask you, Brent, about the Florida Gator defensive line because they've had a hard time getting at the quarterback. They bring in a couple of transfers, and I want to ask you about Slackman and Gums and what you're hearing about them. Listen, Slackman lit it up, but he's playing Ivy League football before. So what are you hearing? Is he going to be able to step it up to this level? And what about Gums, the transfer from Cincinnati?
I think both those guys are going to be really counted on. That they love Slackman. I mean, he's got a motor that doesn't quit. The coaches have raved about him the entire camp. Gum is a guy that you hear about a good bit. Des Watson, who is around 450 pounds, he may see a few snaps, and he can help them somewhat in the run game. Your point's well taken.
Did you say 450 pounds, Brent?
Yes. Yeah. And Gabe, he lost weight during the offseason. So think about that a minute. But I think the defense will be better. Ron Roberts came over from Auburn, and he's going to help Austin Armstrong, the D coordinator. So I think that's a real plus. Now, let me dovetail with something that you said a minute ago with Cam Ward. Cam Ward is not used to this 92,000 people screaming at him from the playing in the Pac-2, shall we say. And look, he's a good quarterback. And also one thing you said to follow up on the road, he threw 7 picks last year. So under pressure on the road, that's something to keep in mind. I think Rodriguez, the running back they got from Miami, is going to be good. Jalen Rivers, the kid that they've got in the offensive line, is too. Xavier Restapro is a good wide receiver. And they've got talent. Reuben Bain, the kid on the defensive line for Miami, at times is almost unblockable. But I'm with you. I'm going with Florida. I think they rise to the occasion, and I think Graham Mertz is a guy who can really come through in a game like this.
And there's pressure on both teams, right, in different ways. I mean, Miami, some people are talking about a potential college playoff football berth, right? And honestly, I think the alum and boosters are expecting nothing less. They expect to win the ACC and make the playoffs. Florida fans, and you speak at the Gator Club, it's to make a bowl game, right? Let's have a winning season, or at least let's make a bowl game. I mean, Brent, their season win total is 4.5. They're projected. Yeah. That's the odds makers projection. 4.5 wins for the Gators. So this is a massive game. Like, if they're going to win 6 games with that daunting SEC schedule coming up, they need to win this football game.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, they after this, they've got Samford. They've got Texas A&M at home. They've got a wonderful home schedule, frankly. They've got a big game with UCF. They play a lot of these state of Florida teams that are looking to make their mark by beating Florida. Now, Gabe, it's not beyond the realm of comprehension that after the first 5 games, they could be 4-1 or 5-0. And I think, frankly, they're as good as LSU. And what they've got to be careful of is like going on the road and laying an egg at Mississippi State early on in September. That is, if they beat Miami and they start feeling good about themselves. But again, as you called, it is a brutal schedule. And right now, the Gator fans I've talked to, Gabe, they would take 6-6 or particularly 7-5 and sign a contract on it right now.
Man, that's crazy. I remember the times when Tim Tebow was crying because they lost one game, and he promised it would never happen again. I'm so sorry we lost one game. It'll never happen again under my watch. Right, and here we are. They'll be happy with a 6-6. More with Brent on the other side.
Carlos Alcaraz has won the last 2 Grand Slam titles at the French Open on the clay and at Wimbledon earlier this summer. He enters as the favorite.
You have a bunch of depth there. Francis Tiafoe, Ben Shelton. They will likely play in round 3. The winner would play Djokovic, most likely, which would be an incredible match. I like Ben Shelton as a sleeper. If Djokovic is hurt, you never know. I think Shelton could actually be the guy that gets hot. The conditions favor him.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Hey, let's say it comes down for Matt Kuchar in the FedEx Cup fall. Let's say he doesn't make a cut, and it comes down to one shot. And
that's a good point.
And he keeps his card for the top 125 because he did make the jump from, I think it was 113 to 103. So he made a 10-spot jump. So he's got, 17, or let's see, that was not good math. He's got about 20.
Not a bad one. The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
We're into a different regime, different ownership, different head coach. I like the head coach. Dan Quinn is a good football man. He has been around where he's been. They have won. Yes, he's had some talent there.
I'm incredibly excited for what this brings to the team. The defense, I think, is underrated. I think this is a good football team. And also, you talk about extending drives. I think Daniels has that ability. And that's something that hasn't been seen in Washington for quite some time.
Fantasy sports today, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency, Sirius XM Channel 159, SportsGrid Radio and Television Networks. We're talking college football with one of our favorite guests, Brent Beard. So, Brent, a lot of stuff to get to, and you and I focus on the SEC. We talk some ACC as well, but we have to add the Texas Longhorns to the rotation right now. We have to add the Oklahoma Sooners to the rotation. We're looking at SEC teams. We have an SEC team playing on Friday night in the Oklahoma Sooners. right? So listen, Oklahoma get a tune-up here against the Temple Owls, but what are your quick thoughts on the Oklahoma Sooners in their debut in the SEC, their first year in the SEC? How do you think it's going to play out for Boomer Sooner this year?
Here is the number one thing for Oklahoma, and you rarely ever see this. Gabe, they have got to replace every starter on the offensive line. Now, think about that a minute. You're in the league in the SEC that has maybe the best defensive lines in the nation besides the Big Ten. Gabe, would you want to replace your entire offensive line going into your first year? That is frankly just massive to have to be able to do that. I think that's the key to their season. I think the defense will be better. I think the passing game has some merit, but that's the number one thing to me for Oklahoma. And we'll start having to watch that tomorrow night, is how is this offensive line doing having to be rebuilt?
They get an opportunity to get off and running, but it's not long before they play some really tough opponents this year. Oklahoma's schedule is just a real grind this year, guys. I've always had a soft spot in my heart for the Sooners, and I do think they're going to drill Temple. I think Temple are going to be a pinata. They're going to be a pinata on Friday night. Okay, so Clemson, Georgia. You know, you and I have spoken quite a bit about this game. They played in 2021. It was a 10-3 football game. I don't think it'll be 10-3 again. I don't expect it to be that low scoring, Brent, but I still expect it to be a pretty smash-mouth football game. And Clemson's defense, I think, will be able to contain Georgia. And when I say contain them, at least, keep their offense in the game. To me, the key in a football game, Brent, is does Clemson have an offense? Will Clemson be able to move the football on the Georgia Bulldogs?
I agree, and Georgia's defense is stout again. Now, they don't have the depth on the defensive line, and Kirby is concerned about the depth also in the secondary. Malachi Starks back there to basically anchor that secondary. But here really is the thing. Clemson has got an NFL defensive line. Peter Woods, who somehow got away from Alabama, is one of the guys that is a stalwart in that line. I think Kate Klubnik is supposed to be better, and I think he will be improved. I think Clemson will be able to run the ball. But this game is in Atlanta. Kirby says it's a neutral site game, Gabe. I know, like me, you don't believe that for a minute, frankly.
Hey, Brett, growing up, I always, Michigan would always lose to USC in the Rose Bowl.
Right.
And I'd always think, why don't we play the Rose Bowl in Detroit, guys? You know what I mean? Why don't they, let's see, it's like, oh, Michigan always lose in the Rose Bowl. Yeah. We're playing against teams from L.A. in L.A. every year.
Yeah, absolutely. But, this thing with Georgia, Carson Beck is a Heisman Trophy favorite, probably, frankly. And the other thing is, Georgia got ETN, the running back from Florida. Now, we don't know
they've been cagey about his status, right, Brad?
No,
but I guess he's going to play, right?
Yeah. Well, he may miss next week's game instead of this week's game. It would be, frankly, my guess. Georgia has the advantage on the line of scrimmage. I still like Georgia, Gabe. By the time this thing is over, by what, 14, 17, something like that? I'm curious what you've seen. If the numbers are going up and down very much on this.
It's right there, Brent, at 13.5, 14. Yeah. It's just hovering. Right there. I like, as a betting man, Brent, I want to take Clemson plus the 13.5, but you just said it. My gut feel almost is like 27-14, 27-17 type of game, maybe 30-17, Brent. But I do think Clemson hang around. I don't think they get smoked. Right, but it's going to be. Listen, we can say what a tough game it is for Clemson, and it is. But if I'm Kirby Smart, and I get it, it's Georgia. It's a tough game for Georgia as well. I mean, some of these other teams are opening up with cupcakes. In Georgia, you're opening up with one of the better defenses in all of college football. All right, we'll hit more games on the other side with Brad Beard. Week 1 college football. It's back, baby. Let's roll. This is SportsRage.
Carlos Alcaraz has won the last 2 Grand Slam titles at the French Open on the clay and at Wimbledon earlier this summer. He enters as the favorite.
You have a bunch of depth there. Francis Tiafoe, Ben Shelton. They will likely play in round 3. The winner would play Djokovic, most likely, which would be an incredible match. I like Ben Shelton as a sleeper. If Djokovic is hurt, you never know. I think Shelton's actually be the guy that gets hot. The conditions favor him.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Hey, let's say it comes down for Matt Kuchar in the FedEx Cup ball. Let's say he doesn't make a cut, and it comes down to one shot. And
That's a good point.
And he keeps his card for the top 125 because he did make the jump from, I think it was 113 to 103. So he made a 10-spot jump. So he's got, 17, or let's see, that was not good math. He's got about
Not a math bot. The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
We're into a different regime, different ownership, different head coach. I like the head coach. Dan Quinn is a good football man. He has been around where he's been. They have won. Yes, he's had some talent there.
I'm incredibly excited for what this brings to the team. The defense, I think, is underrated. I think this is a good football team. And also, you talk about extending drives. I think Daniels has that ability. And that's something that hasn't been seen in Washington for quite some time.
Fantasy sports today, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
The Thursday Night Throwdown continues. This is SportsRage. I'm Gabriel Morency. We're talking college football with the great Brent Beard right now, Heisman Trophy voter, and there's a lot on the line early in the season as coaches will look to pad some stats for their Heisman Trophy quarterbacks. And, Brent, we've got some massive football games. Let's talk a little Alabama football right now. They open up with Western Kentucky. What do you hear about the late closing camp here going into game day? Right now with Alabama. And you and I spoke about the Heisman a little bit last week. You know how high I am on Jalen Milroe, and I think this offense is going to hum. But what can we expect to see, in your opinion, in week 1 from Kalen DeBoer's team?
And look, I think they're going to be very smooth offensively. Kalen DeBoer, look, he could take you and me and whoever we could scratch up, and he would develop something out of us. Jalen Milroe, I understand, has improved a good bit. Now, this is funny to say, but it's really true. He is more accurate throwing the ball 50 yards than he is 5. But what I understand is the 5-yard passes have gotten better. They've got a lot of track stars at wide receiver. Jam Miller and Justice Haynes are really good. This is a good offensive line. They've lost a lot of weight. Here's the thing to watch for Alabama is that secondary is really talented, but they're very young. And I think this defensive front is going to be good. Gabe, you know the Big Ten like the back of your hand. They go to Wisconsin in a couple of weeks. They've got Georgia at the end of the month. So this is a tune-up for them. Next week's another one with South Florida. But I'm certainly hooked that they've had a very good camp in Tuscaloosa.
Interesting something you just sort of dropped there quickly, Brent, as far as their offensive line lost some weight.
Yes.
And one thing about Alabama, Brent, over the years with Saban was their size. It was like these guys are massive. But what did we see? Some teams started to figure out, you know what? We can go around these big guys. They were almost too big, weren't they, Brent? And
they were.
It's interesting, isn't it? Kalen DeBoer said, no, I want to slim up. We're going to play a little faster right now, right? That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
He needed them to get a little bit better shape and not just be massive men on the line, so to speak.
Yeah, and see, Texas just ran around them last year. Remember that, Gabe? And that's a great analogy for your point. So they all needed to lose 10 to 20, and they have done that. They're quicker because of it.
So Texas A&M and Notre Dame, another massive game. sort of like Florida and Miami in a way. You know what I mean? You got these historic programs, Notre Dame being this historic program, and very similar to Miami. They haven't won in a long time. They haven't won a big game in a long time, right? But they're hyped up, and similar to Miami, like same, win total territory. I think Notre Dame probably going to get into the playoffs because of Notre Dame, and I don't think their schedule is that tough, Brent. They have three tough games. This game, the Florida State game, and USC. Like, if Freeman can't go 10-2 this year, he might be on the hot seat. So, but with all that being stated, I like the fact that Elko, it's his first game. Look at what he got out of, like, limited talent at Duke. Now he's got, like, blue chip, top-of-tier players that he can coach up here right now. He's got Connor Wegman back at quarterback here. He's got home field advantage. And I think he's got an advantage, Brent, to the fact that he was the coach of Riley Leonard. He's going to know the quarterback inside out, all tendencies, and specifically, guys, weaknesses of Riley Leonard. He'll know how to attack Leonard and what schemes will confuse him, being his former head coach. And plus, Leonard's not 100%. He hasn't been 100% in the offseason. Brent's coming back from injury here. I like the Aggies to get it done. The betting market is starting to buy in on the Aggies. What do you think of this one?
Well, the two things that you want to watch in this game would be the number one, this Aggie defensive line. Some of these guys, like the Scorton kid who came from Purdue, has been unblockable. And even Mike Elko has said their defensive line can play in the NFL right now. Now, the problem is their offensive line has not been very good at all over the last few years, but that defensive line makes up for it. And Notre Dame's playing some young kids on the offensive line. Now, to your point, too, and I'll say this real quick, Connor Weigman, you remember him? He is back, the A&M quarterback. He had surgery. So, frankly, Gabe, could you say you've got two quarterbacks? I'm not saying they're fragile, but I think we both need to see how healthy both those guys are going to be, right?
This is going to be a smash-mouth, low-scoring game, in my opinion, Brent.
Oh, yeah, absolutely it will. Yes.
Like, it might even be 14-10 or something. It's extreme to say that now, but, like, when we look back, like, points might be tough to come by here for both teams.
Very much. Yes.
I lean with A&M, though. I think A&M and the home field's a difference maker here. Very tough.
I agree.
Very tough spot. So Texas are an SEC team now. They open up with Colorado State. And it's interesting. Michigan opened up with Fresno State, Brett. So I think both teams are just going to want to get a double-digit lead and then sort of coast through, right? I think more so Michigan. You have a new quarterback. There's a lot of newness to Michigan. I don't think Sherrod Moore is going to want to give away what he's going to run against Texas.
Absolutely,
I think it's going to be very vanilla against Fresno. There's, give it to Donovan Edwards. Let Edwards run for 2-3 touchdowns. Get a 27-0 lead and just coast. And then you get Texas with Colorado State. Colorado State's going to come out swinging a little bit. They're 32.5-point favorites, the Texas Longhorns. But, sort of tune-up games for both teams. And then, Brent, the game that I'm going to be at, and we've got about 3 minutes here, so I'll give you the floor here. LSU and USC, man, this is another one with a lot of anticipation. The game is a stone-cold, sold-out football game, Brent, in Vegas. Allegiant, you can imagine the atmosphere. You know how LSU fans travel. And plus, every second person in Vegas is from L.A., Brent, right? So it's going to have like a bowl, like a college football playoff feel to it. Brian Kelly is getting sick of telling and answering and telling people and why they're 0-4 in their last 4 season openers. He was over there for 2 of them, lost both Florida State games, but I can't help but keep going back, Brent, to the fact that they lost when they went to the West Coast against UCLA 3 years ago. To me, you talked about Atlanta with Georgia. This feels more like a USC game to me. It's West Coast, it's Vegas. It feels like a road game for LSU to me, even though I know they're going to have a lot of fans there. What do you think about this game, Brent? Who's going to win?
Yeah, I'll give you a couple of big things for the 3 games you mentioned. The thing with Texas is watch the running game. They lost C.J. Baxter and one of their big backups. See how they're going to replace them. Look, we'll talk about this when we have more time. People are sleeping on Michigan. Good gracious life. People need to wake up to this. That team's got way too much talent. I know a lot of them are in the NFL, but watch out for Michigan. And as far as LSU, I actually am going for LSU in this game because with Will Howard, Gabe, they've got maybe the best offensive line in the SEC, maybe one of the best offensive lines in the nation. Miller Moss is a USC quarterback. I know he's kind of new. You remember Woody Marks, who was at Mississippi State? He is the lead tailback right now at USC. So that's going to be interesting. Look, I'm glad you're going because I can tell you, would it surprise you at all if that LSU USC game's in the 30s or the 40s?
Yeah, the total is 64 right now, 64 and a half.
Yeah.
I kind of think that the winning team is going to need 40 points, Brett, in my opinion.
Yes.
Right? Like 40 to 30, 40, 35. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe a little like 34, 31, whatever. But in that, I agree with you. I think we're going to get into the 30s. Man, time always flies when we have you on, Brett. Where can people find you online, watch on TV, podcast, and everything else?
First Coast News in Jacksonville. Second Helping is the podcast that we do here. Also at Brent Beard, Beaird, on Twitter. And as he always does when he hears Gabe, Chino.
Our main man, Chino.
Chino had just jumped up here wanting to say hello.
He's a big cat. We got to get.
Carlos Alcaraz has won the last two Grand Slam titles at the French Open on the clay and at Wimbledon earlier this summer. He enters as the favorite.
You have a bunch of depth there. Francis Tiafoe, Ben Shelton. They will likely play in round 3. The winner would play Djokovic, most likely, which would be an incredible match. I like Ben Shelton as a sleeper. If Djokovic is hurt, you never know. I think Shelton's actually the guy that gets hot. The conditions favor him.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Hey, let's say it comes down for Matt Kuchar in the FedEx Cup ball. Let's say he doesn't make a cut, and it comes down to one shot. And
that's a good point.
And he keeps his card for the top 125 because he did make the jump from, I think it was 113 to 103. So he made a 10-spot jump. So he, 17, or let's see, that was not good math. He's got about
20. The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
We're into a different regime, different ownership, different head coach. I like the head coach. Dan Quinn is a good football man. He has been around where he's been. They have won. Yes, he's had some talent there.
I'm incredibly excited for what this brings to the team. The defense, I think, is underrated. I think this is a good football team. And also, you talk about extending drives. I think Daniels has that ability. And that's something that hasn't been seen in Washington for quite some time.
Fantasy sports today, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
That's Raw. This is SportsRage. Always great with Brent Beard. Listen, there's something going on right now. I can't confirm it. I don't want to. It's always sensitive when somebody might have I'll just cut to the chase. There's reports and rumors and a lot. So it's not just one person that Johnny Gaudreau was involved in an accident tonight. Not confirmed. Is it fake? No, people are saying, some people are saying it's real. So can we confirm, is it not true? Is he not in an accident? Because people are saying worse than an accident, so I'm sort of holding back on it, right? So someone, I was just told, no, it's not true, it's fake. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm throwing it out there. I on Twitter, I just said, I hope this isn't true. So I'm not reporting it, but Twitter's lighting up with this right now. So we'll keep our eye on this over the next couple hours, obviously. All right, so Minnesota, I should have known better. Although I'll tell you what, they covered the 2.5. I was all mad. I'm like, no, they were 2.5-point underdogs. That's right. They covered. They lost by 2. But I did have an in-game play. I jumped in Minnesota in-game too. But I did cover the 2.5. So that was like a pleasant surprise after. But think about that. It's the first game of the year. National television. It's 17-16. It's there for you. You're the kicker. Right? It was a 47-yarder. And I was thinking, bro, like, that's where, you know what I mean? That's where you live the dream. Like, imagine the campus party and the girls and the time of the life that he would have had tonight if he would have made that kick. That's what it's all about. They carry you off the field. You go back to, you know what I mean? You go back to the campus keg parties, and you won the first game of the year on a 47-yard field goal. Kid missed. It's funny. I was talking about it right before with North Carolina. I said, you never know. Maybe he'll miss. But North Carolina got it close enough. You figure, big-time football. This is the thing, though. I'll be honest with you. This is the one thing. And I do support college football players getting paid. I think the university should pay them, right? Which the NCAA and the universities got away with. They were like, oh, we don't want to pay. We can't pay, even though they're making billions of dollars. But we'll let you guys make money on the side. So it's funny. Like, remember before, like, the lawsuit was, you're supposed to pay us. The NCAA, still, the schools still aren't paying the players. The players are allowed to cut deals, but they're still getting free labor, right? But with that being stated, players are making big money. There's reports, like, of college basketball players, $5 million, $8 million deals. Shedeur Sanders, $4 million. He's making more than some NFL players are. So I used to have a policy. I was like, you know what? We bet on this stuff, but you got to remember they're kids. Like, some of these teams, they take their helmet off. You're like, wow, man, this kid's young. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got money on him and stuff, and they're just playing college football. You're the one that bet on them. So I used to, for years, people know this. I've always sort of had a policy. I don't like, I'll rip, the coach or the overall team, you got to play better, but like, to get personal and, that quarterback sucks or that kicker or whatever. It's like, listen, he's a college football player, right? You're the one that bets on this. No one forced you to bet on this kid. But the whole thing is, these kids and these players have bitched so much about wanting to get paid. And, okay, you want to get paid, then you're open to the ramifications of getting fired. How's that sound? Because that's the way it works in the real world. Like, they're like, well, we're making you money in the real world. Okay, so you want to get in the real world. All right, kid, you just missed the 47-yard field goal. You're cut. We're going to replace you. And you're going to have to, you can go to school still, but you're not on a team anymore. And then it'd be like, oh, my God, these guys are vicious. But so where I'm going with this, I guess in a long way, I'm going to rip this kid for not making a kick. But whatever. It cost me a couple $100, but it cost you the time of your life and the part of your life tonight, kid. So cost you more than it did me. Like, think about that. First game of the year, you make the game-winning kick. I've been around college football teams after they won, especially the first game of the year and stuff, and the party is legit after, right? Such a big difference, right? But heartbreaking loss, close football game. And we haven't even really had, like, a big team play yet. Well, whatever, Florida State at Georgia Tech, but think about the drama that we've had already and the close point spreads and games and all this stuff, and we're not even into Friday yet, and let alone Saturday. And, of course, Saturday, it gets real with Clemson and Georgia, Texas A&M and Notre Dame, Florida and Miami, Florida, Fresno State and Michigan. A lot of a lot of other games too are kind of flying under the radar. Quickly, one game I do like actually is I don't know how that wasn't pass interference actually on Cal State Sacramento. Like, really, what's crazy? The freaking referee is right there. It's like, bro, he hooked his arm. The referee is literally right in front of the play too. Like, I don't know how you didn't call that. Like, how do you not? You were literally in front of it. And I think after all this, there was a flag behind the play. Like, if they actually call holding on San Jose State and Sacramento State gets away with pass interference, I'm going to snap. All right, no, they call pass interference. Are there two penalties? No. You know what? It was so egregious. I like props to this reffing crew. Props to the reffing crew of this football game. Because there was a referee. The ball was in the end zone. It was like a bomb, all right, for the record. It was like from the 40 or whatever. So he heaved it up into the end zone. And it was blatantly pass interference. And the referee was literally standing in the end zone 2 feet in front of the two of them. Didn't call it. And I respect it because in football you don't see this often. One of the referees, other refs on the field called it, like from way behind. He was just like, yeah, I saw it from where I am. Dude, San Jose State keep throwing it into the end zone, like, and trying these really hard, like, plays. The kid just caught it. He just jumped up in the air, and it was a wicked catch, but it was out of bounds when he came down. That was a hell of a catch. That was a hell of a throw, too. Like, that was a serious throw and catch, but you were out of bounds by a foot. Right? You know, you came down with it. You threw a little bit too hard. But we got a fun football game going on here with Sacramento State and San Jose State. The Hornets are up 3 right now, but the Spartans are moving the football. We'll get you up to date, and you know how it rolls. We go to a commercial break, and there's always a touchdown. So I'm expecting a touchdown. By the time we come back, I'll tell you they scored. I almost promise you.
Carlos Alcaraz has won the last 2 Grand Slam titles at the French Open on the clay and at Wimbledon earlier this summer. He enters as the favorite.
You have a bunch of depth there. Francis Tiafoe, Ben Shelton. They will likely play in round 3. The winner would play Djokovic, most likely, which would be an incredible match. I like Ben Shelton as a sleeper. If Djokovic is hurt, you never know. I think Shelton's actually be the guy that gets hot. The conditions favor him.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Hey, let's say it comes down for Matt Kuchar in the FedEx Cup ball. Let's say he doesn't make a cut, and it comes down to one shot. And
that's a good point.
And he keeps his card for the top 125 because he did make the jump from, I think it was 113 to 103. So he made a 10-spot jump. So he's got, 17, or let's see, that was not good math. He's got about 20.
Not a math bot. The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
We're into a different regime, different ownership, different head coach. I like the head coach. Dan Quinn is a good football man. He has been around where he's been. They have won. Yes, he's had some talent there.
I'm incredibly excited for what this brings to the team. The defense, I think, is underrated. I think this is a good football team. And also, you talk about extending drives. I think Daniels has that ability. And that's something that hasn't been seen in Washington for quite some time.
Fantasy sports today, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go!
That's what champions do.
Well, right on cue. Once again, we told you we're going to a commercial break, which means there's going to be a touchdown in the game, except I'm happy it happened. It's amazing how often it happens. Like, for years. Like, this has been going back, for 10 years on this network. And sometimes it happens in, big games and stuff because, we stay on, our commercial break stuff because there's affiliates and all that. But, and TV. But, like in playoff games in the NFL, it'll happen. Hockey, there's always a goal when we go to a commercial break. Like, we often miss dramatic things, but whatever, when you're on all the time. But so anyways, San Jose State were the ones that just scored. So we've got a real fun football game going on. I tell you what, San Jose State, they look pretty good to me. I know Bovey was talking about their under win total, but the coach of Navy, they're not running the triple option here. And in fact, they're running like an air raid type of offense, which I think is catching people off guard a little bit. And they're moving the ball. And I like the quarterback. I tell you what, like the quarterback, he throws the ball with some zip. And he's got a cannon, this kid. Like I said, I'm liking what I'm seeing here. San Jose State's defense got to get a stop here. Cal State, Sacramento are going up and down the field on you. But we got a 28-24 football game right now. This is a game, too, where the point spread and the sides have just been bouncing around back and forth. Cal State, Sacramento, they got up to like 4.5-point favorites, and then it swung. Now, so like I said, it's 28-24 right now. Now San Jose State are minus 3.5. The total is 65.5. So I've got San Jose State on the money line, and I've got the over 61.5. So we're at 52 right now. There's 12 minutes left in the game. Hopefully we can get there. We didn't have a great night, not a horrible night, but our two big plays, the big play tonight was the big game, Colorado and North Dakota State. And we hit the over and we hit the cover. We were on the underdog. So that was a success. We lost a lot of the stupid games by half a point and a point and stuff like that. So I'm going to be in Vegas over the weekend. I'll post some videos with my picks. As far as tomorrow is concerned, we got Florida Atlantic and Michigan State. I'm going to take Michigan State minus the 13. I like the over 45. So give me the Spartans and the over in the football game. I think Temple are going to get absolutely lit up like a spliff on the back of Snoop Dogg's tour bus against the Oklahoma Sooners. Boomer Sooner can run the score up on you. They're going to have a tough year. And, like people are projecting Oklahoma like 7 wins. I think, maybe they can get to 8, but their schedule is super, super tough, man. They play everybody in the SEC. Like Georgia's and Alabama's or whatever. Like their schedule is just relentless. Like every week. Texas A&M, whatever. Like every week, it's like, whoa, that's another tough one. Maddox was talking about it tonight on ESPN, saying, it's almost not fair. Like some of these other teams' schedule compared to Oklahoma's, but it is what it is. You want it to be in the SEC? You're in the SEC. So they're going to make short work of Temple and try to get on track here, get some confidence going into the SEC sked. So give me Oklahoma minus the 42. I advise to bet this now because we see people are betting on these big teams and it'll change and we see how sharp the numbers are. So as I said, I wouldn't be surprised. Like you see 42.5 on our screen. I think this game will probably close at like 44 or something. And 42, I'd rather lay to 42. Every little point counts. Western Michigan and Wisconsin's the one I don't really have a big feel for. Right, it's just one of those. Like I said, I don't have to bet every game, so it's sort of that one. I was like, yeah, whatever. It'll land right around the number, but I don't have a big interest in it. TCU Stanford, like I'm going to be flying, I'm going to be traveling around and stuff. I'm not really going to be settled in until the night games in Vegas, and we got TCU and Stanford, so I'll be watching that game at Circa, the D, whatever. I'll be on Fremont tomorrow night watching this game somewhere. I believe Teddy's coming down. Tony's going to come down and whatever. Everybody's always on Fremont Street. So I am taking the Stanford Cardinal. There should be points in this game as well. Stanford actually want to play a little bit up-tempo. You know how TCU play. But I'm not in love with it. It's a lot of points, 60. So I'd rather just take the 9. And these aren't the best bets of the century tomorrow night, but those are the games. And as I told you, I'm on the Clemson Tigers plus the points. I'm not happy that it's down to 11.5. I think Chen might be suspended and he might not be playing, actually. I like Michigan minus the 21 against Fresno. I like Fresno, Michigan under the number. Florida plus 2.5. They're going to win the game outright, but I'd rather the plus 2.5 than plus 120 on the money line. Follow us on X. Other than that, you're on your own. Later.